An Ivins man sentenced for chasing juveniles and firing a gun at the ground. Vandalism near Washington County's petroglyphs and Washington City's old gym may be making a comeback.
You're watching St. George News at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Amy Bennett. A man accused of chasing 6 juveniles to a residence and firing a bullet into the ground appeared for sentencing. Here's Cody Blowers on the hearing last month.
A defendant, 74-year-old Alan Brent Culver Ashby of Ivins, entered a no-contest plea to aggravated assault and discharge of a firearm during a sentencing hearing held last month. The case was filed in connection with a road rage incident that was reported last year, when police say that Ashby fired a round into the ground near several juveniles. During the hearing, the defendant had this to say.
I thought there was something much more malevolent there. My mistake. I'm extremely apologetic.
Prior to rendering his ruling, District Judge Keith C. Barnes said this.
And I appreciate that. And I appreciate counsel telling me a little bit more about the situation. This is to you, Mr. Ashby, as well as anyone else that's here today, and quite frankly, to everybody out there. I appreciate your words, quote, in your statement, I do not regret standing up to protect my family. That's always something that we're all going to stand up and protect our family, but the caveat here is that you have to use reasonable means to be able to protect one's family. The person you are, you're 74 years young. I'm not going to impose more jail time.
In early November, someone called in with a tip to the Trust Lands Administration about vandalism near Fort Pierce in Washington County. Upon arrival, law enforcement found an individual digging a tunnel that was 2 feet wide and 15 feet deep at an archaeological site with over 100 petroglyphs. The suspect claimed to be a prospector but did not have any proper permits to excavate the area. Charges were filed for illegal activity on trust lands, emphasizing the importance of protecting these lands. The Trust Lands Administration is implementing a remediation plan to document, repair, and gather scientific data from the damaged site, which is crucial for understanding its chronology and historical significance. On the corner of Main Street and Telegraph, Washington City's old gym used to be a place for music, dancing, plays, and weddings. Here's Haven Scott on how this gym could be making its return.
For the oldest Washington City residents, school plays, PE classes, and community dances are some memories from being inside the old gymnasium. In 1924, a gymnasium was added to the old school building at the corner of Main Street and Telegraph, Washington City Mayor Cress Staley said. 100 years later, civic leaders want to use recreation, arts, and parks taxes to renovate the building and reutilize it as a community center. In a recent workshop meeting, Jason Joy, project manager for architecture firm Method Studio, said with renovation, the grounds outside the building could be converted into a patio with seating for 120 guests. Inside, another 160 could be seated for large events, for a maximum event capacity of 280 guests. Several elements of the building would remain, such as the play stage and wooden floors. CERT Construction Project Manager Eric Dunn gave a timeline for construction once the assessment and public feedback period is completed.
So we've started looking at getting plans prepared in for permitting as early as mid to late March. And then, again, it's early, so there's a lot of exploratory work. But initially, we're thinking about a 6 to 8 month construction period.
On January 29th, a public open house is being held for all to tour the 2,600 square foot building.
Thanks, Haven. The Springdale City Council has some plans to improve the poor cell service in the area. Here's Stephanie DeGraw with more information.
Spotty cell phone service may be a thing of the past in Springdale, as leaders consider options for wireless expansion. Cityscape's consultant representative, Susan Reibold, had this to say.
People can go in, they can answer questions about the location that they prefer. They support the use of public property. Do they support the use of the water tank? Do they support the use of the right-of-way?
And now here's Jesse Bang with a heartwarming story on a not-for-profit that has been changing lives in Washington County since 1948.
The St. George Dixie Elks Lodge has been serving the community since 1948. Their primary mission is charity, and they've shown it through scholarships and other donations year-round. For Christmas, they did both an angel tree for children in need and a veterans tree supporting veterans in local facilities. They also put on a charity Christmas dinner where they served around 400 people.
Thanks, Jesse. And now to Aaron Crane to give us the breakdown of what happened this past week in sports.
Thanks, Amy. In Region 9 boys basketball, Dixie beat Pineview 61-50, making the Flyers the only undefeated team in the region. Senior Kyle Limke led the game in scoring with 29, while also grabbing 14 rebounds and 9 blocks, coming up just shy of a rare triple-double. Crimson Cliffs beat Desert Hills 64-63 in a game that went into overtime. Despite Desert Hills senior Eli Allred's 35-point performance, the Thunder weren't able to hang on for this win. Snow Canyon beat Cedar 67-57, pushing the Warriors above 500. Senior Owen Mackey ended the game with 35 points. 14 of those points all came in the fourth quarter. And in girls basketball, Snow Canyon beat Cedar 52-46. Olivia Hamlin started the game hot, scoring 15 points in the first quarter and ended the game with 20. Dixie beat Pineview 54-46, and the Flyers improved to 3-0 in the region, and the Panthers dropped to 0-3. And Desert Hills blew Crimson Cliffs out 54-32. Both Ashton Hansen and Jenna Brown had 14 points apiece in the victory. And Utah Tech men's basketball beat Stephen F. Austin 75-70, boosting their record to 7-9 overall and 3-2 in the conference. The Trailblazers got everyone involved with 4 players scoring in double digits. Gonzalez led the way with 18, Olanika was next with 13, then Elliott had 11, and Riley finished with 10. Now back to you, Amy.
Thank you for watching St. George News at 5. I'm Amy Bennett with St. George News, your #1 source for local news.
This has been St. George News at 5.